Welcome to the Upshot, Multi-World Disc Golf's podcast about the latest in the disc golf world. I'm the editor, Charlie Eisenhood. Joining me is Josh Mansfield on this Tuesday, September 9th, following the Discraft Great Lakes Open. The Gannons taking it down. Gannon Buhr, Missy Gannon getting the wins in MPO and FPO respectively. Josh, another weekend where Gannon Buhr just kind of hangs around and then he's there in the end.
Yeah, get used to it, folks. 4-round tournaments, like, this is Gannon's bread and butter. And it's, we might need to spend some time after the season's over. This is not something that's terribly pressing because he keeps winning. But we need to spend a little bit of time. I feel like Gannon comes out a little slow sometimes in tournaments. He talks about that being his experience in previous years at Worlds and had a little bit of a slow start to the tournament this weekend, but then just always seems to clean it up. And it's funny because on the tournaments where he doesn't have a slow start, he wins by 8. And so the only thing that even keeps it close is if Gannon has, and I mean slow as in he went 5, 9, 8, 9, right? So definitely lower, 3 strokes from his next worst round. So definitely a slower first round, but nothing catastrophic, obviously, right? That's the key difference is he's not playing himself out of contention with his bad rounds. It's just, it seems like he needs a warm-up round in order to really get things rolling.
Well, his record now in 4+ round events over the last 2 years is just ridiculous. Of course, he famously won all the Pro Tour Plus events last year. Mm-hmm. No, he didn't win Champions Cup. Andrew Presnell won there.
Yep.
And then let's see. Of course, he didn't win Worlds last year.
That's a 5-round event, Charlie. doesn't
Isaac Robinson wins there, but then Gannon wins USDGC. And then we come into this year.
Charlie, one thing. The only other event that he didn't win was MVP.
Yes, 4-rounder.
Champions Cup, MVP, and Worlds, I think, are the only 4+ round events that Gannon did not win last year.
And he didn't win one of them this year. The
Finnish Cowboy beat him out in Austin.
At Austin,
yes.
Right.
Yes.
Which is it's very confusing because there's not like a standardized naming convention on the PDGA site for these Pro Tour events. For instance, the MVP's Open in Austin does not contain DGPT Plus anywhere in the title.
Isn't it
so you
great?
just have to remember that one was not Gannon. But then since then, Gannon has just been completely dominant. Of course, he didn't win Champions Cup, but he won all of the other Pro Tour Plus events, and he won the Worlds, and now he wins DGLO, which I guess is technically not a plus, but is a 4-rounder.
I think it is a plus.
That I don't think so.
Is it not?
It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that it's a plus.
Why is it a 4-rounder then?
I don't know.
I'm kind of annoyed that it's a 4-rounder then.
I mean, maybe they just labeled it wrong. That's always possible.
Yeah, because Northwest Disc Golf Challenge and Open at Austin were plus events. Is this a playoff event? No, GMC you know what? MVP.
It is a plus event. It just isn't labeled a plus event on the PDGA page.
Okay. I would say if it's 4 rounds, it's got to be plus. Yeah, no, I hear you.
You're right.
So far, Gannon has not won this year. Open at Austin, the European Major, and Champions Cup. And those are the 4-rounders he has not won. But
overall, I mean, obviously, he's got like an 80% win rate or whatever.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, this mathematically makes sense. Because he's the highest rated player.
And, we'll get into this.
It's still very impressive. Yes. Ratings update day. Perfect segue.
Nice segue, Charlie.
Thank you.
So smooth. Gannon Buhr gains 1 more point and now ties Macbeth for the all-time highest rated disc golfer in history at 1062 rated. He did not have enough in order to bump himself up into the 1063 mark, so he's definitely going to be hunting for that. I'm curious to look and take a quick look at how he did down the stretch last year in terms of ratings. I think GMC and MVP are generally on the lower end.
No, I think he cooked.
No, I'm not saying he didn't cook. I think that just ratings wise, you're not gonna benefit from like a 1080 rated tournament.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
right.
That's true. It looks like ballparking in my head without doing the actual specific math. He probably averaged around 10.55 last year at MVP.
Okay.
But he had an 11.07 rated round at GMC.
1071 at GMC event rating. So,
and he had those crazy rounds at the RIP, that Q Series event, where he averaged like 1080 or maybe even higher than that, 1082 or something. And then he played great at DGLO last year. So I think it's going to be tough because he's going to drop all those events, and they probably net rated out to like 1070.
Yeah. It's almost like it's hard to break the all-time record for highest rating.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. So he'd have to play a unbelievable next month of disc golf.
Definitely in the realm of possibility, that's for sure. Calvin Heimberg up 1 point to 1050. Ricky Wysocki up 2 to 1049. Gannon, sorry, one more thing. Gannon is 12 points ahead of the next best player in MPO. Yep. Which, I mean, I think it was
there is only one other member of the 1050 club right now.
That is
it's Calvin.
It's unbelievable the level of play that Gannon has right now.
We're going to talk more about that as we get into it. What else do we need to know about ratings updates?
Nicholas Antila, 1048. Paul McBeth jumps 3 to 1048, which...
That's his highest rating in 2 years.
Okay, all right, very nice. Anthony Barella also at 1048. Isaac Robinson, 1047. Kyle Klein, 1044. Ezra Robinson, 1042. Lowry Lettinen at 1041. Sullivan Tipton at 1040. Mauri Villman at 1040. And so that is your 1040 plus club.
Okay, how about on the FPO side?
Yeah, over on FPO, we no longer, well, we didn't already. Kristen continues to slide further away from the 10,000, the 1,000 rated mark. She's now 996, with a 2 point slide. Missy Gannon is 987, up 2 points. And then Silva Saarinen is the third highest rated player in the world now at 985. She stays flat, but Holland Handley dropped 4 points down to 984 to give Silva that spot. Owen Scoggins, 983. Evelina Saarinen, 982. Haley King at 980. I can't read that name without just like what could have been or what could be. Ella Hansen, 974. Kat Merch, 972. Hedda Blomers, 971. And that rounds out your 970 and above group. Missy
not quite at her highest ever rating. That was in June when she hit 988, but she's basically at her highest. The last few months she's been at her highest rating ever. She cracked 980 for the first time September 2023. She's been in the 980s consistently since March 2024, and has kind of slowly been creeping upwards. And I think if she plays in this next month like she's played in the past at these tournaments, she could crack 990 for the first time.
She could. Yep. Very, very likely.
There is a possibility that Missy Gannon becomes the highest rated player in the world in the next year.
Possibly. The issue that we have is that if Kristen doesn't play, her rating doesn't move.
Well, it lose a little.
I don't think it does it?
Doesn't it as you drop stuff?
I thought that if you don't add new rounds, it doesn't recalculate.
You may be right.
So as long as Kristen doesn't play, she won't drop off the good stuff. And so she will just hover at 996, which is still a task.
My point is that it's theoretically possible for Missy to go past that, even if Kristen stays there.
Oh, okay.
Would it require a serious stretch of great disc golf? Yes.
Yeah. It's yeah. Oh, okay.
All right. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
2 years from now.
Yeah.
Or maybe we could just keep it simple and say at the end of the 2027 season, who is the highest rated player in the world?
Silva Saarinen. Like, that's my answer to everything right now,
come
Charlie.
back to Silva.
Right now, it kind of does.
It's fair.
It kind of does. And when you consider all the factors, history with winning, age, talent, mental game, right? Trajectory, consider all those factors. Now, there are young players that you're going to have to reckon with. Let me give you a couple of these. Addison Woodard jumped 24 rating points to go to 951. Wow. Yeah, that was a jump. Julia Fours up 8 points, 938. Thanks to Danny over in the Discord for pulling some of these numbers. Right, you've got Cadence Bird. She went down this rating cycle, but still, obviously, great player. Ida Letamaki, great player. So there are lots of young players that Silva is going to have to contend with. And, to what extent are they going to pass Silva? I don't know. They still have a lot of points to make up, though, right? Julia Fours, 938. Like, she's got a ways to go to catch Silva Saarinen. And so when you consider all the factors, and then you do it on the flip side, you do Missy, you do Kristen, you do Holland. Yeah, they're fantastic, but their trajectory is not the same, just skyward that Silva's is right now. So honestly, you ask me whatever FPO question you want, Charlie, and copy paste, because I've got one answer.
All right. Well, let's dig into DGLO a bit. We're going to talk with Missy Gannon a little bit later about her tournament and a little bit more maybe about her career, the state of FPO in 2025. Lots of great stuff to come with Missy. And we can begin on that side of things. Actually, you know what? I lie. I want to start on MPO. And I want to talk about Gannon's ability to close it out and other people just not seeming to be able to clutch up and make the shots that they need to make in order to beat him. Mm-hmm. Because it's not like he suffocated everybody with 8 straight birdies in the back 9. No, he had 6 pars in the back 9, and Calvin Heimberg couldn't seem to make a putt. Ricky Wysocki misses a absolute must make on hole 17. It's uncanny that Gannon is still, despite having a very poor round 1, able to come out and win these tournaments over and over again.
Yeah. It's interesting. And here's the hardest part, I think, when talking about Gannon, and people in the Discord are talking about this. Gannon is a closer, right? He's comfortable down the stretch. He's super strong down the stretch whenever he's in contention. It's hard because you look at this and you go, oh yeah. And I don't want to assign too much to this, because obviously if Gannon could just put his foot to the pedal, he probably would. He's not going to hold himself back. But there's something about Gannon and what he needs to do versus Gannon and oh yeah, I could just keep playing and just stretch things out. I just feel like in a world where Calvin starts putting pressure by making putts, I expect Gannon to start just playing better. Wherever the mark is that Gannon needs to be at in a final round, he almost always seems to just match that line and put himself a stroke ahead. Now, obviously, sometimes he comes into the final round with 6-stroke leads and things don't matter, right? But generally, when it is competitive, the more somebody pushes him in a final round, the more he rises to the occasion. People don't push him, and he just kind of keeps rolling along. And so you're right that he had the 6 pars in the back 9, but I have a hard time even feeling like the counterfactual is, oh, Calvin makes 3 more putts and wins, because I think Calvin makes 3 more putts and Gannon makes 3 more putts, and that's just the level of closer I feel that Gannon is right now.
I have a hard time disagreeing with that. And it's, to me, I see the comments. I feel the energy of people being frustrated that Gannon won again. People are saying, oh, this is boring, yawn, burring. Look, I don't know what to tell you. You want your guy to win, they need to win. They have to go out and they have to win. They have to beat him. And that's what makes it special when people do beat him. That's what makes it really interesting when Paul Macbeth wins at Idlewild. And, if Jake Hebenheimer had been able to pull it out this weekend, it would have been an incredible story. And it's still a great story. Jake Hebenheimer, one of the biggest movers this week in the ratings update.
Yep.
After one of his best ever tournament performances. What a final round.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys playing really well. Silas Schultz, what's he up? I think he's the biggest upgrade. Did you mention that already in the?
I had not talked to MPO upgraders, so he is now 1050, or he's 1022 rated. He's now 1031 rated, jumped 9 points,
up 9 points. That's the highest movement upwards from any touring player. He's just gearing up for the Big Easy Open. He's got to lock in.
That's all. Yeah,
it's like Popeye eating spinach. They announced the New Orleans tournament.
Oh man, those jokes about the Big Easy Open are just not going to stop until that tournament happens, are they?
No. We're at it feels like the era when Paige Pierce was winning all the time, and it was just like, well, let's okay, Paige Pierce won again. Let's talk about the battle for second. What can you do? The guy's playing on another level, and we're going to talk later in our pound for pound segment about how he's stacking up with his unbelievable 2024 season. You might be surprised. It's going to be very interesting.
2024 Gannon is the only one you can even comp with right now because nobody else even holds a candle to him.
Ricky looking kind of back, Josh. That's a good sign.
That is a good sign.
He just gone through a pretty poor stretch of play before this tournament.
Yeah. Wrist issues. I think we had mentioned it on the show already. But yeah, nice to have him back, and he plays well at GMC. He was second there last year, won it in 2022, and so definitely he's got to be excited. Who took second back in 2021? He has to be thrilled about this coming back up. It's a good time for Ricky to get right.
All right. Well, we'll talk more about Gannon and his season so far a little bit later on. Taking a look over at FPO. I mean, Missy Gannon tried to lose this tournament down the stretch, but she had just done so well through 3.5 rounds, almost 3 3/4 rounds, that like she had a huge cushion, and Holland Handley just refused to walk through the door that was opened fairly wide by Missy, who bogeyed 3 of the last 4 holes.
And man, doesn't it? It just feels Holland gets wins, has gotten wins, but it really still feels like these mental struggles are still plaguing her. And this tournament is one that really, I think, exemplifies that, because it's just not. And it's so interesting to see a player who is a little bit kind of characterized by her mental struggles and the pressure and like cracking under the pressure. And it's the fact that and you mentioned this on the Reacts, Charlie, but I just think it's so fascinating. 8 for 8 from C1X putting, right? Like, it's not the putter. Putts are fine. The problem is that she goes 12 for 21 on fairway hits in the final round. Like, can't keep it. That's two fairway hits less than Missy. She went 5 for 18 circle and regulation. Missy went 8 for 18. Holland went 7 for 18 circle 2 and regulation. Missy went 11 for 18. Like, Holland falls apart on the green and on the fairway.
Well, I mean, I think the specific thing is that when she gets nervous, she seems to have a hard time controlling, particularly the forehand, particularly from like weird spots. And there were moments where like Missy goes OB, and it's like door wide open for Holland to tie or possibly win, and then she immediately follows it up with an OB. I mean, look at 18, right? And look, these are hard holes. This is a difficult course for FPO, and I don't know that you can expect people to play perfectly clean and not go OB, but it does feel like we see these issues crop up more, and we basically talked to Holland about it. I think she acknowledges that she has a hard time like throwing that forehand clean in those kind of bigger pressure spots, and it's just going to be something she has to work through. Yeah. And it's not like she can never do it, because we've seen her close out wins, but I feel like it's still just a work in progress.
Yep, it is.
How about Silva Saarinen? Course record, 10 down, almost gets to a playoff.
Phenomenal. I read off a little bit of stats from Missy to compare against Holland. Let me give you Silva's, though, from that final round. 19 out of 21 fairway hits, 90%.
Jeez.
Both times she missed the fairway, she successfully scrambled. She was 10 for 18 in Circle 1 regulation, 14 for 18 Circle 2 in regulation. She went 9 for 11 in C1X putting, and she went 3 out of 5 from Circle 2 putting. Silva was...
What's crazy is that she actually missed 2 very makeable putts.
Yeah.
That would have gotten her to a 12 down. And, it was already a 1032 rated round. It could have been something very special.
Spectacular.
But, you're making up for that when you're making 50 footers, and going 3 for 5 from C2.
Right. Got to be thrilled if you're a Silva fan for Worlds next year. She had never played this course before. Her first round, she plays 2 down, I think is what it was. And
That's right.
Yeah, 2 down. And I was like, okay, well, that was enjoyable, right? Like, thanks, Silva. And then goes 4 down in round 2, and then 4 down in round 3, and then finals obviously does 10 down. So, at 18 down, if you get rid of her first round, she very, very clearly would have been your winner if it had just been rounds 2, 3, and 4. So you do 2 rounds, still having played there before. Give her a couple woods courses to play as well. Look out. Silva is...
Worth noting, very windy first 2 days.
True.
And we talked about that coming.
We talked about that.
Now, I do think it's fair to give a little bit of a first time playing the course pass. Mm-hmm. But I think that probably has something to do with the significantly worse performance than compared to the final round, for instance.
Yeah.
So, it's hard to watch players kind of muffing it and kind of limping into the finish. You really want to see somebody go out and win.
Yeah.
And we've had a couple times this season, particularly in FPO, where it just feels like it's not happening. I mean, somebody had the stat in the Rapid Reacts. The lead card went a combined 1 under in the final round. And the chase card went a combined 20 under. Now, obviously, half of that was Silva. But
still,
the lead card was really the only ones who were in the conversation. So it's just a hard watch.
Yeah.
When people are struggling to, just make shots.
Yeah. And we were giving Missy a hard time for the final 4 holes. She really was playing spectacularly prior to those 4 holes.
Yeah. She was 7 down through 14.
Would have been the next hot round behind Silva. But it's hard because it didn't really feel like Holland was going to put any challenge until we got to 13 through 15, and then you're like, oh my gosh, a sign of life, right? Holland was even through 12, and then you're like, oh, signs of life, thank you, we're gonna have a contest. And then birdies 3 only ends up getting 2 back from Missy on hole 15, and then just falls apart. And yeah, that ending was not as exciting. I mean, it was exciting, but you're right, Charlie. You want to see him. Holland goes OB on 18, and I'm like, oh, guess it's over. And then Missy throws OB, and what is going on?
All right, let's get to our interview with Missy Gannon, and we'll come back, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Missy. And then we'll talk about Gannon Buhr, compare his season so far this year to what he was able to do last year. And then, of course, we've got Pursewatch and picks coming your way. Stay with us. It's The Upshot. The Upshot is presented by Pound Disc Golf, makers of the best bags in the sport. Do you think you could make a valedictorian custom bag? Every time they make a batch of customs, they pick the best one. They give it the valedictorian stamp of approval, like this pink and purple custom Octothorpe, this beautiful saffron fabric Rufus, and some other beautiful Rufus bags as well. So go over, check out the custom program, design the bag of your dreams at pounddiscgolf.com. Joining us now on the Upshot is 2025 DGLO champion Missy Gannon. Missy, welcome. Third win of the season, and coming on strong right at the right time at the end of the year. How you feeling?
Yeah, thank you so much. Feel good. Yeah, it felt like it had been a minute. It's funny because in previous seasons, I feel like I kind of ramped up towards the end of the season, but this year I sort of had a couple of earlier wins, and maybe last year was similar for me too. But it feels like I'm kind of back in old form again, and hopefully I can keep it going for the remainder of the season. We've got 4 really big events coming up, plus the match play championship, and so it's going to be an exciting finish.
I'm so curious. I've just kind of been we're reflecting right now on today's episode about kind of like your career, what Gannon Buhr has done so far in his career. And I was just thinking back to like when you started on tour. I mean, you've played your first PDGA event in 2016. And what did you go on tour in 18 or 19?
18.
Okay. So you come on tour in 2018 and you get your first tour win in 2021 at Des Moines. And, then it feels like you've just gotten better and better and better. I'm just curious for your thoughts on like the trajectory of your career and kind of ramping up your game, even as the FPO division gets increasingly competitive. And it seems like especially so since COVID.
Yeah. I don't really know how to describe it. I think about back in the day in my, high school, sport career. I was never the best at anything, but I was never bench. I was always a starter. I could always get the job done that I needed to get done, but you wouldn't necessarily say like, oh my gosh, she's the best outside hitter or she's the best, shortstop or whatever. But I was reliable. I was consistent. You could always count on me to do what I needed to do. So I feel like that's got to be something that sort of contributes to me as a professional disc golfer. I'm never going to go away, I guess, in terms of if I'm out here, I'm going to give it everything I've got. And, maybe it won't always go my way and that's okay. But I'm never going to give up. And, I think I've just, from a young age, if I decided to try something, I was going to, try to be the best at it. And, again, like I said, I never really was the best at anything in particular, but I was always pretty solid at everything that I've tried. And so I don't know, maybe that's part of it. I just, if I'm going to commit this much time and effort and sacrifice a lot of other things, then I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And I think that plays a big role. And also just being really grateful for having the opportunities that I've been given and, not taking anything for granted. I don't know. That goes a long way. It's a lot more mental, I think, than most people give it credit for. And I think that's where I really excel the most.
I don't know. I kind of observe that. And I think about that often when I see you on coverage. You have it's clear that you're competitive, but you also have like, you're just happy. Like it comes through on camera that you are just happy to be playing, even when things don't quite go your way. As opposed to like other players, you oftentimes are laughing that off. Do you think that contributes to the success that you found?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and a lot of things that you all don't see is after having a terrible round, I do let that emotion out. I do it in private, but, I care so much about the sport. And, I think when you're on the field, I think I've realized it's really easy to, trick your brain a little bit. It's a lot. You've heard it before, fake it till you make it. And it really does help. If you start getting mad, I mean, maybe some people are motivated about getting upset about a bad shot or a bad putt or whatever, but that's just not that's just not me. I don't, maybe even like, I'm 36 years old at this point. I'm like, there, one miss putt is, if you're crying over one miss putt, then you've got a lot of growing up to do, in my opinion. So, yeah, I've just seen that it helps. It works. If I'm smiling, it's because I really genuinely am happy to be out there. And like I said, if you really just break it down, I'm out there throwing discs for a living. And that is just, that's crazy. That's so cool. I used to work in an office and that was fine for what it was. But like now I'm out in nature and I'm, throwing discs and being able to interact with a bunch of fans and people that really care about the sport as well. And, I think I'm a big believer in what you put out is what you're going to receive back. And, I'm just, again, very thankful for everything that's come my way. And, I'm going to hold on to that.
You're now, 8th. Well, you were 8th. You're still 8th all time in majors and Elite Series wins in your career, behind Paige Pierce, Val Jenkins, Katrina, Des Redding, Kristen, JK, and Sarah Hokum, which puts you ahead of a lot of very, very accomplished players. When you started out back in 2018, did you ever imagine that you'd be here, in like very solidly top 10 player all time in the division? And it didn't take you very long to get there.
No, absolutely not. I mean, when I went on tour, I started out in like the middle of the year. I kind of hit the summer swing, and we were just like, okay, let's see how it works out. And if it doesn't work out, at least we've only like taken 6 months off, and we could probably just get right back in the working world if we need to. And honestly, it really didn't work out. I don't know how we kept going. I think we just, by we, I mean Tom and I, because we both quit our jobs and, just went for it.
Just for context, you only made $750 in prize money after you went on tour that year. You cashed at Ledgestone and then at an A tier in September, but mostly you weren't cashing.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I think when we got done with that year, we were like, all right, well, I have all these fundraiser discs I can try to sell. Tom picked up a job at UPS. We just sort of were like, let's try it out for one more year. Let's see what we can do. And kind of from there, I mean, 2019 was a better year and a full year, but still wasn't great by any means. But I think I started to get my name out there. People started to recognize me a little bit. I won the putting world championships. And yeah, I think also it helped to have Paige Pierce as one of my mentors. She took me under her wing, and she was plugging my name to anybody and everybody because she could see my work ethic. We would practice together, and it helped a lot to have her sort of boost me a bit, and yeah, again, put me in people's ears and tell people to look out for me. And so yeah, that was incredibly helpful. And yeah, I don't know, things just happened, and things just kind of worked out in my favor in a lot of ways. And yeah, like I said, if I'm going to do something and I feel like I can succeed, I probably will. And I mean, I know that sounds bold, but it's just how I've always been. And yeah, that's really it.
Oh, and now you're big money Missy.
And Charlie, I have a stat that I have not seen anywhere. So I don't know if people have just missed it. I don't know if you know this, Missy.
Okay.
With Idlewild, you have surpassed Kristen to be the #1 highest earning FPO player of all time at $355,000, $355,666.
Okay.
So
Really?
yes, she is now $10,000 ahead of Kristen and is the most earning FPO player of all time.
Wow.
Which I can't believe nobody's talked about.
I feel like that just snuck up on us. I don't know.
I don't. It's so funny because it's so predictable. Like a tournament comes up, we look at the payout, we're like, oh, that's a lot of money. Like Missy's probably going to do well, and then without fail, you do well. And I will say that tends to be events towards the end of the season. What is it about these events that make like that you just really feel like you find your groove?
I mean, I don't know. I think. Well, first of all, I want to say when I took second at Idlewild, I haven't looked at payout. You know, they usually send you an email saying here's the projected payouts or whatever the night before the final round.
Okay.
I've decided not to look at that, especially if I'm in contention, and which I was in at both Idlewild and DGLO, but I was pleasantly surprised when I took second place and I saw it was at LWS Open that the payout was $5,000, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of money for a 3-round disc golf pro tour event.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, that's just a testament to all of the sponsors and the crew at the Idlewild LWS Open to, you know, that the payouts are just getting so much bigger. And so that was a shock. And then, you know, obviously I knew for the Pro Tour, for the Elite Plus event at DGLO that was going to be a good payout as well. But like I said, I didn't look. I didn't want to know. But I think when it comes to these last few events up here on the East Coast, I kind of feel like where a lot of people are getting homesick or getting burnt out or just want to be back to familiar territory. That is familiar territory for me. The Northeast is where I grew up. And while I don't live there now, I mean, all of my family is there. And it feels like we're kind of going home, which doesn't necessarily make me feel like, you know, ready to like take a break or a rest. It more just is like, oh, I'm excited to go back to the Northeast, an area that I love so much. And I, you know, it's so familiar to me. That's sort of something that I just really kind of realized over the last like couple of weeks, just being excited to be back in the Northeast. And I think a lot of people are excited to go to the Northeast and the East Coast swing, but it hits different for me. I think it just feels like I'm going home, but not really. And so I think it just kind of reinvigorates me a little bit, but I don't know. It has nothing to do with the money. I promise you. It's just, I'm just excited to be over here.
And I should clarify, I said lifetime. It is lifetime Elite Series and majors.
Okay.
So that's, yes. So it doesn't include A tiers or other things.
Right.
But yes, for Elite Series and majors, you do have the most money one.
Cool.
That is very cool. All right, so let's talk a little bit about DGLO proper. I mean, this was an interesting tournament. You know, you played obviously very well, but then it was a little touch and go down the stretch there. How are you managing those final few holes and kind of like the strategy around, you know, knowing where Silva was and where Holland was and just kind of like having to battle through some mistakes at the end of the round?
Yeah, I agree. It got wild at the end, and it was very unexpected for me because, you know, I felt like I was kind of cruising. I knew I was three strokes ahead of Holland. To be very honest, I wasn't even thinking about Silva, and that has nothing to do with, you know, there's no room for that at certain points during the round. You know, you can't really think about chase card. I was just kind of thinking about Holland, and once hole 15 kind of happened, it's interesting because I've been playing that hole pretty well. I've had, you know, I think I had a birdie look on almost every day, and I don't know what happened. It could be nerves. I really can't pinpoint it. You know, because we both had similar drives, Holland and I, and then my second shot didn't go well, and she, you know, threw a pretty good second shot. But I still felt really calm. I was like, okay, I can get up and down. Even from a third layup, but again, didn't do it. And that was that was a big shift right there. And then hole 16 is kind of a toss up, you know. we both ended up going OB. And so that sort of took a little bit of relief off of me. I knew I still had one on Holland. Again, not thinking about Silva at all. I know Tom was, but I was not. So I really commend Tom actually coming down the stretch, because he very well could have been like, hey, Holland's not the only one we have to worry about. But realistically, she still was the only one I had to worry about, because I still went bogey, par, bogey, and I still won by one. So
Right.
I don't think it would have helped for him to be like, okay, even on that final like upshot or whatever.
You can't double
like,
bogey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That would have been more pressure than it would be, than necessary for me. So, yeah, I'm very thankful to have such a calm, knowledgeable, he really understands the game and the mental side of the game, and also just really is in tune with how I'm feeling. And so, that's such a tool to have. He can pay attention to that, and he'll let me know when it's absolutely necessary. But realistically, yeah. And this has nothing, I don't want Silva fans to come after me, but in the end, Silva didn't matter to me. We played it out exactly as we needed to at that final stage. Obviously, I would have loved to be in bounds on hole 17, but again, we were just sort of playing match play at that point, and it got crazy for both Holland and I don't know. It's just that's what happens. That nerves happen, and things just don't go exactly to plan sometimes. But at the end of the day, a win is a win, and we got it done.
When you look at this course for Worlds next year, are you excited? Do you know anything about the other course? How was this as a preview for what we're going to have next year?
Yeah, I didn't take the opportunity to go check out Black Locust. I think is what it's called. I'm excited. I've heard that course has some good variety and some good wooded holes, and I think you never can quite know what's going to happen. I think that it is helpful to be in sort of like Discraft country. I think we feel really at home there, and all of the fans are really excited to have all of the Discraft players up there. Obviously it's World, so they're going to have, we're going to have people from all over the place coming to watch. But I'm excited. I mean, I've been playing DGLO for over, for like 5 years at least. I mean, I got my 5-year plus competitor Brixton card when I started my first round, and that was really cool. It kind of was like, whoa, yeah, I guess we have been coming here for a while. And I feel like I could never quite put it together at DGLO. I don't know. It's just, I felt like I could play well there, and I just never was able to do it. And this year, I've just kind of maybe have a couple of different new tools in my bag, whether it be a style of throw or, I'm really relying on my slower speed discs. Like, I know I've always been like the thrasher thrower, and I still am, but I'm throwing a lot of cicadas. I'm throwing, I finally figured out, which is crazy to me, but I finally figured out how to throw like my mid ranges, power grip, when I need to off the tee. And I don't know. So those little things have really kind of just elevated my game here and there. And I think that also speaks to why I feel like I am getting better year over year, is just that I'm never staying comfortable and completely comfortable in what I have in my arsenal of tools. I am trying to get better at something every single year. And that's you have to do that. Like like you said, the field is getting harder and harder, more competitive, and if you don't try to get better yourself, you're just going to get left behind. So that's important to me, to at least get better at something, but also just again stick with my my strong suits, and again try to gain an advantage wherever I can.
What are your thoughts on the season so far? I mean, it's been a really wild year. We've got a lot of players getting wins, and it feels like every few weeks we have to talk about where the state of the Player of the Year race is. So, and you know, Kristen having to drop out of Worlds, and now latest news, she's not going to come over for Throw Pink, which probably means she's not going to play the Tour Championship either. So, you know, just kind of like it's been tumultuous. So I'm curious for your perspective.
Yeah, it's been exciting. I mean, I'm a competitor in the sport, and I'm so invested on that side, but I'm still such a fan of the sport too. Obviously, like when I have bad events, I'm still just tuned in to see, you know, and excited to see who's going to come down and take the win at the end of the day. And it's just fun I've played with so many different people. You know, even at Idlewild, I feel like I've played with people that I hadn't played with in a while. And just, yeah, having more people in the mix is always better for the sport, and especially on the FPO side, I think. You know, the MPO, I know Gannon's kind of, you know, doing his thing and having that year or two that he's been having. And but, you know, there was a lot of parity over there quicker than there was over on the FPO side. And I feel like now we're kind of in that stage of like, a lot of people are kind of figuring it out or getting comfortable on the grind, and getting more confident. You know, I think that's another thing. A lot of people don't believe that they can win, but there are so many women that have all the skills. They just have to believe that they can do it. And yeah, it's been wild. I mean, I really would have to go back and like reflect on the entire season, but it's been one for the, you know, for the history books, I'd say. And, you know, we have 4 of the biggest events coming up, down the stretch here. And yeah, it's exciting. You know, it's just been a season that I don't think anybody's going to forget. And I think that, you know, it's great. It's great to see. It's great to see. I'm very, very happy for all of the new winners this year. And yeah, I hope that we only gain more and more people to come on tour, and continue to grow the FPO side, and hopefully have more great battles coming down the stretch.
Just a quick follow up on that. Are you impressed with the young talent coming out of Europe?
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, either Letamaki or either Emily Nesse or, you know, even little Julia Fours. I mean, she's so young, you know, but yeah, it's crazy. And I think that, and I went over to the World Games and, you know, playing with, the Czech Republic players, and you know, I didn't get to play with the Latvian players, but they are also very young and very good from what I hear. I have to go back and watch them play, but yeah, it's amazing. And I know that we have the same thing coming out of the US too. You know, I've seen a lot of, whatever coverage I can of the junior worlds or the, you know, amateur worlds. They're killers out there, and they're coming quick. But you know, it's great to see. I always wish that I had learned how to play disc golf earlier in my life, but, you know, because I think that it's just been such a rewarding experience. I've met so many people, I've gained so many friends, and it's just such an inclusive community, at least from the experiences that I've had, especially back in, you know, Colorado where I started. You know, if it wasn't for that, the Longmont Disc Golf Club, and how inviting they were of me as one of the few women that were playing. Yeah, nobody ever shied away from playing with me. Everybody was very, very happy to have anybody and everybody come in and play. So yeah, that played a big role in me coming up so quickly, I guess. But yeah, it seems like that's happening more and more, especially for these younger kids. And yeah, I couldn't be more excited to see what they can do in the future.
You make reference to the World Games, and you and Gannon are one of the first players in 20 plus years to have a gold medal in disc golf. What was that experience like?
It was amazing. I didn't really know what to expect. But, if you had your World Games badge on or whatever, as soon as you arrived at the Chengdu airport, it was like you were treated like royalty. And, that was really, really cool. And, we were right across the street from the course, in our accommodations. We were, fed 3 meals a day or whatever you needed. And then, it's crazy that even like at the airport leaving, we were just, we were waiting in line to check our bags or whatever. And this woman comes up and she said, no. She, sweeps us up and goes to priority. Like, all of those little things. It was so cool. And you could tell everybody knew about the World Games, and everybody was interested to know, what sport you were playing and where you were from, and and even like swapping jerseys with other teams. It was just such a cool experience, and I really hope that we get back there, and also I hope that more. I don't know what the format's going to be, but I hope that more teams could come over, or bigger teams of disc golfers could come over. If we could have like, the top three and MPO and FPO go over there as teams or whatever. I only hope to see it grow bigger and bigger. And I think that leaving there and finding out that they're going to make the course permanent.
Yep.
I was just like, you could just tell how much of an impact this had on that community. And China is obviously large, but they only have like 20 courses, and some of them are object courses or, just sort of random courses here and there. So to add one more and be the course that we played for the World Games, and to kind of have that lasting, legacy on that area is, I can't believe that I was part of that. And I'm so grateful to have been chosen to go over there. And it's something that I'll never forget, and I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
It's I heard it was really difficult for them to even like get that course to be in that park as a temp course. And then for them to immediately turn around and say, like, before you leave, let's do a ribbon cutting ceremony because we're going to put this in permanently. I mean, it's just, it's incredible. For sure. And I don't even know all of the details of how getting the course in there, what that all, what all went into that. But I did hear about how, it took a long time and a lot of hoops to jump through. And I can't believe that it's going to be there forever now. And how about the fact that you got to play with Gannon? Like that worked out. Your most typical doubles pairing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was amazing.
All right. So what are you most looking forward to down the stretch here? Is there an event that you've got circled the most?
I mean, I think it feels like everybody has this event circled, but to me, GMC has always been on that list of events that I just really, really want to win. I think, winning MVP last year, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a dream win. It's the oldest disc golf pro tour event we have. It's got, I remember watching coverage from MVP Open, back when it was Vibram Open. And, it's just, it feels so cool to have a win like that. And I think that GMC has a similar vibe for me. And, it's one that I've been close to winning a few times. And that would just be one. I don't know, maybe it's fresh in my mind because it's the next one and that's where we're headed. But for sure, I mean, it's one that everyone always looks forward to going to Vermont, and it's just so beautiful up there. And so, that would be amazing. But I think honestly, all four of these events coming up is just like, they are packed in there in terms of, all of them are 4-round events. I think the Pro Tour Championship is too. And it's just an exciting thing. And I think anything could happen. I know that last year, like, I snuck into the number 1 spot on the Pro Tour points because of my win at MVP. And I haven't really looked to see if that would be possible again, or what I would need to do in these last two playoff events to potentially do that again. But yeah, I mean, that I know it's starting to tighten up a little bit. Holland's ahead by maybe like 200 points or something, but yeah, I feel like a lot of shaking up could happen, and also thinking about the people that are on that line of getting into the Pro Tour Championship and how big these next two events are. It's it's exciting for everybody, especially us as players, but I can imagine for the fans as well.
We've been tinkering with the Pro Tour Championship. The sport has been tinkering with the Pro Tour Championship format for years now. I don't know if a format's ever stuck more than 2 or 3 years. And just as we decide, okay, we're going to do the assigned starting strokes like the PGA does, the PGA moved away from it. Are you happy with the format? Was the stroke reward for season performance? Do you wish it was something different? Do you have an old format that you prefer?
I really don't. I really don't know what the best option is.
That sounds like, I think that's the common answer.
Yeah, it's I can't imagine. Like, I don't envy the people that are having to make these decisions, because it's something that when the Pro Tour Championships even became a thing, it like felt. I guess I kind of liked the sort of sudden death feel of the first iteration of this, maybe because it's my first experience with the Pro Tour Championships was in that format, but I understand the idea of like people are getting. I don't know if this is completely why they've moved away from that, but people are getting accommodations, not knowing whether or not they're going to be in it for the long haul, and spending money on potentially a week of accommodations, and then maybe getting knocked out round one. I don't know. Again, I know that was just one of the factors that went into trying to make it so that it's a little bit of a longer format. But yeah, I really don't know. I think that I don't know if the strokes made a huge difference last year. I know that there was some conversation about it, like it would have maybe worked out the same way regardless of strokes. I can't really remember, but yeah, I don't know. I do kind of like the sudden death feel of the previous layout.
What do you care? You've won 3 of the last 4.
Right. in all the formats, so whatever.
I guess the only other question I have is I don't have it in my head right now. Are you up for a contract renewal next year?
Yes.
So have you given any thought to that? Have discussions begun at all?
Not official discussions. I talked to Bob and Mike over at Discraft quite a bit, being the co-captain of the team. I feel really solid where I'm at. I think that I'm a little bit more involved in talks overall for the entire team.
Sure.
So it's different for me, I would say. But so I'm really, again, I keep using this word, grateful for the position that I'm in, but it really is. I've kind of, like I said, I've kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's like I feel like I've paid my dues, and I've done a lot in my career, and I'm kind of at this position where I'm maybe in a little bit different of a position than most of the touring players out there. And so yeah, it'll be exciting. I know that the disc golf industry, or things are rapidly changing, but we're kind of leveling out here and getting a better grasp on what the market looks like a little bit as we've come down from the COVID boom. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think it's only getting tighter and tighter and more competitive, and that's okay. I think it's important for us to sort of, keep a good handle on, again, not getting ahead of ourselves, trying to make sure that we understand where the market's going. And so it's cool that I'm even in that sort of being able to think about it that way from that perspective. I'm not like worried, which is good. For me, it's like I said, I feel like I've worked hard to get to this position where I don't have to now be just so worried about what's going to happen next year. But I know that it's different for a lot of other people, and it's stressful out there. But it's like I said, it's getting more competitive, and it's all gonna work out in the end. But it's exciting. We're in an exciting time.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Always great to chat with you, and good luck down the stretch here.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Missy Gannon with us on the Upshot. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Upshot. Thanks again to Missy for coming on. I feel like I don't know that all the players on tour are like this, because Missy, I feel like she knows all the storylines and like all the players, and obviously she's playing with them sometime. But like I asked her about the European players, and she like rattled off all the names. You know, I just feel like she could be a really good. I honestly don't know if Missy would be the absolute best booth commentator, but I could see her being a really great panelist for like pre and post, you know?
Sure.
And she may well be able to be a booth commentator if she wants to do that someday. But it's always a great interview.
No, without a doubt. She is one of the best interviews in disc golf. And it's not just even like the player side too. I just think she has a really great perspective on the game and like the big picture of the game. That's something that I really appreciate whenever we have Missy on.
What is Missy's legacy going to be?
Complicated.
I mean, I think we already said that she's going to be a surefire Hall of Famer once she won the major.
Yes. And she's got two.
Now she's got two, and she's top 10 in Elite Series major wins all time. So like, that's not even really part of the conversation. But like, where does she land for you in the bigger picture conversation about, all-time greatest players?
Yeah, it's so tricky because we are some of the first to say like majors are what withstand the test of time, and then like broad win categories. But it's complicated, and the stat, that we talked about with Missy, first in cash earned at Elite Series and majors in her lifetime against all the players.
That's wild.
Yeah, right? And I think Kristen and Paige both have more money, when you factor in like A tiers and stuff. But I think the sport is changing.
It is worth noting really quickly that Missy has benefited greatly from playing so well at the Pro Tour Championship.
100%. But that is an event that benefits season-long, or that you get benefits from season-long performances. And so I think it would be disingenuous to say that it's like unrepresentative because she's won those Pro Tour Championships, right? And so that's, I think that right there, that tension of like, she plays well during the season, has some wins and top 10 in wins that you mentioned, Charlie, for Elite Series and majors, but it's still complicated because she is not, she's been under the eras of Paige and Kristen, who are obviously much like significantly greater, right? In terms of legacy. I feel like Missy is done enough and has enough of like a presence in the sport that she's gonna I can't help but think of like NFL comps. Like I can't help but think of like a Phillip Rivers kind of style, except with majors, right? Like super consistent, good, overshadowed by one of the greats or greatest of all time, who are also playing at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, she's literally played against the two best players ever to do it. Yeah. And she's still getting wins. That's the thing.
Yes.
she's one of, I think I just counted, it was 18 players who's won at least 2 majors in FPO. And, look, is she on the level with a Pierce or a Jenkins or an Allen or an Elaine King or a Dez or Kristen? No. But she's above basically everybody else. I put her above Evelina. Evelina's got more majors. Evelina has 2 more majors than Missy, but like if you ask me to compare their careers, like I would say for sure that Missy's been the better player over her career. Evelina could certainly change that story. She's much younger. She's like 10 years younger.
Yeah. Even a couple more majors.
Missy still could. Her story isn't fully written either. I mean, she's playing her literal best disc golf right now of her career.
And going into her favorite stretch of the season. Like,
right.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Could.
And like those Pro Tour Championship wins, we may not really look at them as majors right now, but like they're above a Pro Tour event. So like how are those going to be considered long run? Because winning 3 of the last 4, I mean, that's amazing. And of course was number 1 in the standings last year.
Right.
And I felt like she said, it's kind of suggested that she might be able to go and snipe the number 1 spot again this year.
I haven't looked at the standings over an FPO since we did our Pody comparison a couple weeks ago. Charlie, is this the time we should do another Pody check-in?
We can't. We're joking, folks. People getting super mad in the comments. We apologize. It will be an interesting conversation again. We'll probably touch it before throw pink. So we'll see.
Yeah. She's 200 points behind Holland right now.
It's very doable with the playoff point structure.
So, yeah, gonna have to play really well.
Yeah, I think we'd have to look at the actual like point spread.
Yeah.
And that, let's see if they have it updated. No, this is not. They've stopped UDisc. As soon as UDisc stopped doing stats, they're like, how about we just stop doing Pro Tour like coverage stuff?
Yeah.
I get it.
I don't blame them. It's the thing is, and the benefit that she gets is that like important events at the top, like the winning has a huge gap above second place. And so yeah, there's a possibility that she could do it.
Playoffs are worth, I want to say they're worth 250.
They're worth 250. Yeah.
For the win?
Correct. So for reference, majors are 300 for the win. Second place is 250.
So it was a 50-point edge.
So you'd imagine probably like a 35-point edge.
Something like that. But
it's
like,
doable.
okay, let's say Missy wins, Holland finishes 6th. Like,
definitely doable.
Do it a couple times, it could happen.
Yes.
I mean, it's a long shot.
But even down 1 or 2 strokes, I still like Missy better than Holland going into the Pro Tour Championship.
It's an interesting conversation. Who played better at Worlds last year?
I couldn't get that one off the top of my
head.
Off
the top of your dome? No, I completely understand. Last year was an interesting one.
Neither were even top 3, I don't think.
Holland finished 4th. Missy finished 6th. Pretty comparable. Although, remember, Holland had that absolute nightmare final round.
Yeah.
8
which
over.
was at Ivy.
Yeah. Well, they're playing both courses for the Tour Championship.
Oh, that's right.
It's next year that they're going to split it.
Next year is split because
they're going to do
Champions Cup. That's right. I forgot they're playing 2 courses. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
You're right. Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't blame you for favoring Missy considering how she's played at the Tour Championship historically.
Yeah. Watch out, money on the line. Missy's there. What do you think, Charlie? Where is Missy's legacy?
I think she will be, she will be looked at as one of the top 10 players all time.
Okay.
Yeah. I top 5, no. She'd have to do some more work. She'd need to win a few more majors.
Yeah.
But top 10 for sure.
Okay. I think that feels right.
Let's talk about somebody who arguably is already a top 5 player all time, and that's Gannon Buhr. Gannon wins again. There was a lot of chatter earlier this season when Gannon wasn't winning much that, he's lost it. He's not the same.
It was that season was a little bit of an anomaly.
Well, yeah. Obviously at this point, he's now at 6 wins. And he is playing arguably more consistent than he did last year, which is hard to believe. But his average finish is a little bit better than it was last year. He's averaging a 3.9 finish compared to a 4.2 through the entirety of 2024. So, Josh, let's break it down with this pound for pound segment presented by Pound Disc Golf. Josh, let's break it down in our pound for pound segment presented by Pound Disc Golf. Carry excellence. Give us the stats. 2024 Gannon season was being comped to Macbeth 2019, Macbeth 2015 as one of the greatest ever. And I do think it was clearly a top 3 year ever in MPO. How is 2025 shaping up?
Yeah. So 2025, Gannon is currently at 6 wins with 11 podiums out of 17 events. For reference, out of 24 events last year, it was the 13 podiums, 9 wins. His average is 3.9, an average finish, as compared to 4.2 last year. His worst finish, both last season and this season, is 13th. He's already at $122,000, just shy of $123,000 in winnings, with 1 major win and 3 appearances, with an average major finish of 2.33. Here's where it gets interesting, Charlie. Last year, Gannon finished the season GMC, MVP, USDGC, DGPT Championship. First, third, first. Now, is it a little bit of, would it be a tall task for him to repeat that? Absolutely. Could he do it? 100,000%. And anyone who thinks otherwise is crazy. So let's imagine Gannon does the exact same thing. This is also presuming that payouts are the same as last year. If Gannon can do the same finish last year as he did this year, or do the same finish this year as he did last year, he would finish with 9 wins, same as 2024. He'd finish with 15 podiums, more than 2024, with 3 less events. He would still be a little shy of top 10s, and top 10 percentage, right? He only missed the top 10 once in 2024. He'd miss the top 10 twice this year. His average finish would be a 3.4 compared to the 4.2. His cash would be $207,288, which would exceed the all-time great cash amount that he set last year at $201,000. He would have 2 out of 4 major wins again, with an average major finish of 2nd.
So what you're saying is that if he does if he wins 3 of the next 4, which has to include USDGC for the major comps,
GMC
he
MVP
will literally have had a better season than last year.
Correct. Than last year's top 3 season of all time.
So insane.
And if he plays even like decently well in these back 4 tournaments, I think we're already at the point you could comfortably say that this is the best 2-season stretch of disc golf in the history of the game.
Yeah, we'd have to start pulling up the stats on that stuff, wouldn't we?
Yeah, we would.
Macbeth 18-19.
Yeah, exactly.
Macbeth 14-15.
Yeah, you got to start pulling other years. But it just if Gannon, imagine if Gannon had 18 wins over 2 seasons.
That's just insane.
18 wins in 45
I will
starts.
say, Josh, I will be very surprised if he doesn't win at least 1 more.
2.
Like the over-under on Gannon wins moving forward is 1.5.
I disagree. It's 2.5.
2.5?
I think it's 2.5.
Okay, what do you take on 2.5?
Oh. At 1.5, I smash the over. I will take the over so fast at 1.5. No hesitation.
I mean, it is all multi-round events.
Yes.
And I shouldn't say multi-round. I should say 4. They're all 4,
yes,
right?
They're all 4-round events.
Yeah. And he's going to be spotted strokes for the Pro Tour Championship.
Right. And he's won USDGC multiple times. Like, I don't know how you think. I think the line at 1.5 is just too easy to pick. At 2.5, give me the over.
Wow.
I don't know. Like, even odds. Like, I know I'm probably taking the bad side, but right now, like,
I take the under, but it's not like I don't think it's possible.
Right. I think
he could
the under.
He could sweep. He just played below his rating and won DGLO.
Well, if Gannon plays his rating at the rest of these events, he might just win.
It's unbelievable.
Okay.
It is crazy that he could ultimately end up playing better than last year.
And we didn't even, Charlie, you mentioned, you spoke just a little bit to the possibility that I didn't even put in my numbers. What if Gannon wins all 4?
I know.
10 wins, 19 wins across 2 seasons. Right? Yeah. He would clear like 220 grand in cash.
With the 2 biggest wins of the year at
with
Worlds
the 2
and
most
USDGC.
important tournaments of the year. Yep.
It would be it'd be something very, very special.
An average finish of like
4
3-3
straight wins.
Yeah.
That's tough ask.
I wouldn't. I would. That's one of those like parlays that you stick on there for like that you stick $100 in and hope that you cash out 10 grand. But
well, you're not going to get odds that good even.
Well, I mean, with a parlay, if you do,
I know, but still. Like, if you're saying taking the over on 2.5, it means that you think that he's likely to win at least 3.
I think I feel that's
wild
right now.
Just an incredible opportunity in front of him to keep it going, and like I feel like we have to be clear about the greatness we're witnessing right now.
Yeah. Get your
right.
parkas. We are in the ice age.
We are very much in the ice age. Go G.
Go G.
All right, let's
hold on real fast. Last thing on that. Did you see Matt's post on Facebook?
His caddy posted on Facebook like one of those text Facebook posts, like some guy keeps screaming, "Let's go G," and it's really ruining my watching experience. Something like that.
Top tier troll.
What a troll, dude.
Oh man. Okay. Anyway, you were about to say something else.
All right. I have obviously Gannon's been the best player of the season. This is just a trivia question.
Okay.
Let's call it the trivia question of the week. There are 3 players who are averaging better than a 10th place finish this season.
Okay.
One of them, of course, is Gannon Buhr, who's averaging a 3.9.
Disgusting.
This is specifically for majors and elites. Okay.
Okay. And this is MPO.
This is MPO.
Okay. Okay.
Who are the other 2 players averaging better than 10th?
It's Calvin, one of them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Calvin averaging a 7.8. He's been great. He has as many top 10s as Gannon.
Is he second?
He is not second.
Okay. Okay.
He is third.
Okay. Interesting.
The other player is averaging a 7.1 finish.
Oh, okay.
I will give you a small hint.
So you mean still more than double than Gannon, though? Okay.
Oh,
cool.
yeah. Nobody's
just
close
wanted to
Gannon.
confirm that.
Nobody's close to Gannon. There's no, yeah. And you probably you could gather this anyway, just because you're thinking through the other players. You're like, there's no way. This player has only about half the starts, fewer than half the starts of Gannon and Calvin.
Is it fewer than half? Is it Lowry Lettinen?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Lowry Lettinen averaging a 7.1 finish this season. Has podiumed 3 of his 7 starts. And honestly, has just played great disc golf this season, but obviously in a limited tour.
Right. Yeah, and Lowry
DNF'd. Hopefully he's not hurt. I don't know what that was about.
Don't do it, Lowry. We just got so excited to have you back.
He's been slumping a little bit of late, but
okay.
Still impressive overall season.
Yeah.
And 3 podiums to start the year, but then 6th Krokol, 11th European, 20th Worlds, and 5th Turku. So, it's like a little bit of a misleading thing when it's a bunch of them are European events.
Sure.
Basically, they're literally all European events.
Right. Is he even coming over for USDGC or anything?
Good
I don't
question.
know if he's qualified.
I bet he is. I'm sure he qualified from like one of those European tournaments.
Yeah.
Let me check. I bet he's coming over. Does he have a shot at the Pro Tour Championships? He's playing. He's signed up for MVP and USDGC.
Oh, sick. Okay, that's great.
But not GMC. He's playing this weekend. He's scheduled to play at a Prodigy Disc Pro Tour event in Finland.
Okay. Is Lowry going to make the DGPT finals? Let's look.
I don't think so. Especially if he's skipping GMC, it's probably like pretty unlikely.
He is 100 and about just shy of 100 points short of Austin Turner. But
It's not impossible.
No. Charlie, you're forgetting something really important.
Okay.
Lowry Lettinen could qualify by being a top finisher at MVP who's not already inside the Tour Championships.
That is true.
Which is why it makes a lot of sense to not worry about GMC, because he shouldn't be worried about the points route. He's worried about qualifying just via performance of playing in through MVP.
Great point. And I know we talked about it, but I've already forgotten.
I believe it's the top 4 MPO players who are not already qualified for the tour. So and it's so like if Lowry finishes like 11th, but he's the highest non-qualified, he's in, right? It does, yeah. They're guaranteeing filling those 4 spots.
Let's see. Top 4 finishers at the MVP Open outside the top 28 in world standings. He's got a great shot to do that, right?
Amazing shot.
I mean, like,
let me give you the list of guys
he's
who are
the
ahead of him.
favorite to do that.
I think I'll get. There's one player that I think you might consider a favorite over him. Let me give you the list really quick though of the players who are ahead of him who are not currently in top 28 that he's going to need to beat out.
Got it.
Prez, Shiloh Schultz, Benjamin Callaway.
Callaway already in.
You're right. Okay, but it says outside the top 28 standings. So I
but
wonder.
He's already.
But it's not top 20. It doesn't say already qualified.
I would assume they would carve that out, but
they may
we should clarify with.
They may say that the performance supersedes the win and give him that spot. We don't know.
And they don't want to give it to the guy who finished,
correct
20th at the tournament. Yeah. Okay. Maybe.
We don't know. I'm including Benjamin Callaway in the list. Matty O, that's the guy who I think you got to watch out for at MVP.
That's great point.
Yeah, Matty O's
literally has won.
Literally has won. I think Matty O could very likely get his spot to the Tour Championships at MVP. Zachary Nash, Paul Ulibarri, Paul Kranz, Lowry Lettinen. Lowry is the clear number 2. I don't know, Prez, but like, I think Lowry is probably the number 2 guy for me after Matty O.
Very reasonable.
But
fascinating stuff.
I don't find 4 guys who are going to beat Lowry. That's the key, right? I don't care if he's the most likely or the 4th likely. I don't have 4 guys on that list who I think beat Lowry at MVP.
I agree. Let's take a look at our Pursewatch for DGLO. It comes in at pretty much exactly the same payout as Idlewild, $105,460, which is $120 more than Idlewild. Yet with 6 more players, that means its money per person is at $713. Still a very good number. $13,000 to Gannon Buhr, $8,000 to Missy Gannon. It is up 1.3% over 2024. Overall, right in line with the other Plus events in terms of payout. Notably below Ledgestone. But also Ledgestone has a lot of players, so that makes up a big proportion of that difference.
Yeah. Yep. Picks.
It was kind of a week to pick chalk.
Yeah.
Some people were like talking a bunch of trash in the Discord about, you know, going for the 5x picks in FPO, and it did not pay off. So remember, you can always check out all of the picks at discgolf.ultiworld.com/upshot-picks. Josh, you're not making up ground on me, bud. You're falling further behind.
Nope,
I picked up about 8 points on you this week. I got points for every single one of my picks this week, so I will gladly take that. I had Silva own cat merch. Silva ended up being one of the best picks this week. If you didn't have Missy, Gannon, Buhr, Calvin Heimberg, Macbeth on my MPO picks, and you had Buhr, Klein, and Simon Lizotte. Simon was a nice pick.
Simon was a nice pick. Klein.
No points for Kyle Klein, no points for Valerie Mondahano, and Ella Hansen actually gave you a -1. So that's tough.
Yeah.
Shout out to MJ, who scored the most points in FPO this week, picking Holland, Missy, and Silva. Very nice. It was that perfect podium bonus, right? So excellent stuff there. In MPO, a bunch of players scored 11.5 total points, picking some combination of Gannon, Calvin, and then either Simon or Goose or Chris Dickerson. So that was Mickey, Shrey, Danny, Rymat, Drooper, By the Berg, Miko, and D2 Mighty Ducks. I was just off the pace with 11 points. So that's the picks this week. Nice picks. And now we go into the playoffs, and then we're ready for USDGC.
Good. Great time at disc golf.
Awesome stuff. We get a week off before, so we will have a different kind of show on Thursday. Steve Dodge will join us next Tuesday to get us ready for the playoffs and his event, of course, the MVP Open, coming up right around the corner. So we will talk to you again on Thursday. Don't miss our rapid reacts. We actually went almost an hour I think we went over an hour this week on the Discraft Great Lakes Open, and you can check out that and all of our past episodes with a subscription at discgolf.ultiworld.com/subscribe. Join the Discord. It's a great time. Josh, have a great week, and I'll talk to you Thursday.
Sounds good. See you then.